But good evening, everyone. This is
Oh, that's
Preston,
just a big fat John face.
and we have John. Hello, John. Does my audio sound okay?
You're roboting
fine.
a little bit.
You're fine.
So is that me or you, do you think?
I don't know. All right. Well, John, Danny's saying one of us is roboting. Hopefully that'll fix. My internet has been a little slow. I have a stage 32 script that I wanted to go over.
Okay, both of you guys are roboting, so I'm just going to log out and log back in.
Okay, fair enough.
Everybody sounds fine to me. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
I didn't get
you
a
sound
chance
great.
to do.
You sound absolutely golden. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Whoa. Wow.
Too bad I look horrible, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Can't fix ugly.
Now I'm just waiting for it's kind of strange. Like we had like last week or last month was like hell month to get everything done for the legal stuff. Now we're just waiting to see what the judge says. And like the pressure is like reduced. And I was like, huh. But I'm looking back, I'm kind of proud with you know how we pulled through. I think you did well in deposition. And I have a new stage 32 script today. You know, stage 32 got they got on me. Which I don't even think they should do. Like stage 32, and look, this is me as a business person, and it exists as much like the blacklist exists as a way to separate neophyte writers from their money. And
Stage 32?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way anything that is Hollywood light. Like,
yeah,
it's like IMDb Pro is exactly the same way. Like,
right.
It's like nobody celebrity, no name person pays for IMDb Pro.
Right. Yeah. So
which is why I don't pay for it anymore.
yeah.
I'm like, I did while I was working, you know, because it's nice to have your headshot on it.
Yeah.
But like, since I'm not actively working in that industry, I'm like, screw this. I ain't paying for it.
Yeah.
You know.
But I've been anyway. I have a new script here from a stage 32 writer. Here, let me read you the log line. A young couple's real estate flip turns disastrous when a con man swindles them. I'm getting Pacific Height vibes already, forcing them into a high stakes quest for justice where they can trick him into paying for his own hit to save their life. Oh no, okay, well, that's a bit of a departure.
That actually went in a rather interesting turn.
It did.
So what was
all right.
So what was the issue with stage 32 rather than just they're trying to fleece unknowns for money, like everybody else in Hollywood?
All right. So stage 32 has a screenwriting forum. All right. And I was posting these screenwriting workshops, only the ones that involved scripts from stage 32 writers, to the screenwriting forum, soliciting feedback from all stage 32 members and participation thereof.
And they didn't like that because they're not making money off of it.
From stage 32, who, by the way, if you sign up for stage 32 every day, if like you will get an email of, hey, here's a new seminar, here's a new thing, you should sign up for this. We're having a screenplay.
Yeah, I had to block them.
Yeah,
like I have a stage 32 account, but it's like when
they will spam the F out of you. Oh, yeah. But I'm violating their spam policies for posting such links to stage 32 screenwriting forum. Sure I am. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I'm you know, stage 32 clearly is not LinkedIn when it comes to people being able to go, hey, this is me, here's what I'm doing. It's more like, make sure not to post too many links that will block the monetized links advertising seminars that you should pay for. Anyway. Well, when Danny gets back, we can have a script reading, and that would be cool.
All right.
I guess I'll just wait here. Let's see. He is not back yet. Anyway, so Palace Trade, I think you should definitely get some. I think it's going to be good.
I'm meeting with.
I think it might be better than Guinevere. I think Guinevere is pretty good. I mean, Guinevere for me
I
is
am looking
strange.
forward to having something new on my table.
Yeah.
I've been selling the same 2 books of yours for 18 months, 24 months now.
Yeah. Have you run into customers who already bought them?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
happened. Like, no, I already bought all that.
And then it's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
I was
never
in
mind.
Tallahassee. I was in Tallahassee 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I was talking to somebody like, oh, that's right. Forgot to mention. So apparently, he was collecting floppies of White Lily.
Wow.
So
Okay.
what's Red 5?
Red 5. Okay, Red 5 is an outfit that's, I think, defunct at this point because it was two creative people working together, and then
Yeah,
they got in litigation. And I feel for you, but there's
okay.
a guy named Scott who was part of Red 5 and is now continuing on. And just a couple of days ago, he sent me my royalty check for the last quarter for White Lily sales, which was more than a Starbucks cup of coffee, and I appreciate that. Not dramatically more, but more. Um, anyway, so this was back before I had a relationship with Diamond. So, and I didn't want I didn't feel strong enough about developing a relationship with Diamond. So Red 5, which did have a relationship with Diamond, which was Scott and the person that Scott is in litigation with, um, had had a had a distribution as well as like a producer kind of thing, like who would look at the script. And so I said, sure, here's, White Lily say. And the thing is, they also looked at Guinevere. And between the two books, they said, we'll distribute White Lily. I'm like, well, we would have gone with Guinevere because I've run these on Kickstarter and I can tell you which one brought in more, and it's Guinevere. Now, White Lily is a better story, but Guinevere's got boobs and people like that. And hooray, I'm not here to knock it. But
So, well,
yes,
when I was talking to this guy, so I was
yeah,
telling him about White Lily. He's like, "Oh yeah, I already have White Lily." He's like, "I got that. Like that was put out by Red 5." And I'm like,
yeah,
I had not having ever heard of them. I'm like, "No, my buddy put it out under his own
yeah,
brand,
yeah, yeah,
Pocket Jacks." So we went
yeah,
back and forth, and then he pulled out his little black book
yeah,
and he showed me like, "Yep,
yeah,
here's White."
yeah.
Like
Red
here's
5.
because
Red 5.
because
Yeah.
again he was old school. Like he wouldn't
Yes.
even sign up for the mailing list because he's
Yes.
like, "No, I never check my emails." So he had this little black book and handwritten. He had it all broken down by the distributor, and there it
Yes.
was. What Red 5 and then White
Yeah.
Lily 1, 2, 3, and
I
4 and 5, and then he had check marks, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get White Lily 4." I was like,
yeah.
4? So
Yeah.
anyway, I was like, I showed him your eBay page, and I'm like, well, here you go. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I mean, the thing is, I mean,
I
that's
don't know how
that's
many more
that's
left.
Red 5, and I have a relationship with Scott. I can certainly call him up and he'll send me stuff. But like, I don't have Red 5 comics outside of me asking Scott to send me some. So I
Well, no,
can't really furnish.
he was specifically looking for White Lily 4 or 5, issue 4
Right.
or issue 5, because they were the one or two that he didn't have. He didn't want the
Well, I'm
trade.
saying if he's looking for it under a Red 5 label, I can't do that. Like, I can just give
I
it to him under
know.
my label. Yeah.
Well, that's why I was like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm like, well, I'll just look up.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
showed him your eBay page, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, he might
But
have
yes,
a
I
few of them
absolutely
left,
did
but
use Red 5 to distribute White Lily. And I don't really regret the decision. I mean, they discovered what I think I already knew, which is it's hard to sell that particular, well, it's hard to sell like a history war epic in a comic book format when you only have like ads to take out in previews. It's not easy. It's a tough road to
yeah.
hoe, you
No, it
know.
was just funny because it's like he didn't want. He was stuck under no. They're the ones selling it. They're the ones distributing it, and I was just
Sure.
like, okay,
That's fine.
good luck.
He's missing issue 4. Issue 4 is like the good issue. That's when like the whole story turns. It
I
goes
think it
from
was
like,
issue 4 that he was
yeah,
missing.
issue 4 is like when the whole story turns. Like the first 3 issues are like a kind of a classic war movie of, oh wow, like these people are in war and things are going well and they're defeating the enemy, and then issue 4, you go, wow, it's crazy shit happens in issue 4.
Well, you need
I
that
think I
before you
fixed
have
my
the
issue.
dramatic
You
turn.
guys sound fine now.
They're
All
awesome. I'm glad
right.
to hear that. Okay.
Did
Sorry
you have
about
to
that,
stop your
guys.
illegal torrents or something in order to get it to work?
We had to reboot Chrome. There was some sort of memory leak somewhere.
Chrome memory leak? Never.
There we go. Okay. So we have
It's
a
so
new script
irritating.
this evening from a new guy. This is Web of Deception. No, Web of
I
Deception.
did hear a Scene 32 reference earlier. Is he from
Yes.
there?
He is from there, yes.
Cool.
So here we go. Web of
Welcome,
Deception.
Dave.
Yes, by
Too bad you're not here to actually take it, with some actual conversation.
Yes. So inspired by actual events. So there we go. This is like historical and stuff. Who wants to narrate?
I'll narrate.
I'll do it.
Okay. So
Sure, you got harpies coming. No, just kidding. I can make Preston narrate that.
God.
Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, we'll have Preston narrate. I mean, I do hate reading a lot of your dialogue. All right, I'm going to read this anyway.
You always
Web
get
of
the
Deception.
all right.
As long as I don't do Jezreel's magic, I'm happy.
No, you always get the last laugh when it comes to my
exterior-
dialogue. You know that.
That's true. Exterior, hillside house, Los Gatos, California. Day. A hillside mansion with canyon views with a for sale by owner sign in front. The property needs significant repairs. A shiny new BMW pulls into the driveway. Emily Thompson, 30s, ambitious real estate broker, steps out with her cell phone, snaps several photos of the house. Emily strides up the walkway to the front door, rings the doorbell. The door swings open. Emily enters. Interior Thompson House office, San Jose, California. Day. What? Okay. I thought we were in a different location, and this is continuous. That's very confusing. The door closes behind Emily. The room is filled with modern furnishings. Dave Thompson, 30s, a general contractor, sits at his desk, surrounded by blueprints and tools. Dave is tapping his watch.
It's about time you showed up, Emily. I was starting to think you got lost in the driveway.
I wanted to check out that house. We should flip, Dave.
You mean the one you want to flip?
It's a good deal. It should take us to the next level.
Dave shakes his head.
Too risky.
Emily drops into her desk chair.
Not if we get it for the right price.
Are they willing to come down?
Emily powers on her laptop.
I'll make them an offer they can't refuse.
As she says, she strokes the cat. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are, the Godfather?
Emily rolls her eyes.
How dare you make a cringe reference to me? Oh, wait, I say, I'm tired of flipping small houses and not making any real money.
We're getting by.
Barely.
Oh, so this is a historical.
Yeah.
Emily types on her laptop.
What are you doing?
Writing the offer they can't refuse.
Shouldn't we discuss this first?
I'm not letting this one slip away.
Dave saunters over and peeks over her shoulder. Dave chuckles.
That offer? Seriously?
What's so funny?
They might laugh you out of their house.
Emily chuckles.
It won't be the first time. Apparently her offer is refusable. All right.
Apparently. You're
Yeah,
wasting
Dave
your
Nails,
time.
her offer is quite refusable.
You're wasting your time.
It's mine to waste.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I am getting weird roboting on the audio, so there's a bunch of something going on here, so I'm slightly slow. Did I hear Emily's line?
You did.
Okay. Dave half smiles.
But it's both of our money.
Later, the printer spits out several pages. Emily retrieves them, holding them out to Dave.
Fine.
Emily,
Yeah, you need to sign it.
you sign it.
It's a community property.
Dave raises an eyebrow.
And if I refuse,
Then you'll find out what community property really means.
I know what it means. You'd end up with the property, and I'd end up getting kicked out of the community.
Dave
Wait,
accepts the document, signs it. Emily heads towards the door.
Aren't you going to sign it?
Emily stops and turns.
Emily's pretty bossy.
She's girl boss.
She is total girl boss. Do you think I'm that crazy?
You were crazy enough to marry me. And I think he was the one crazy to marry a girl boss.
I mean, like, why did she? What? I don't understand why she's saying it's crazy to sign a contract, but okay.
Emily smiles.
I know, and they should have fit me for a straitjacket for doing that.
Emily rushes out the door. Dave shakes his head, returning to his laptop.
I'd be worried if I thought there was a snowball's chance in hell they would accept it.
Apparently, her offer they can't refuse is quite refusable, according to Dave.
Interior, Thompson House, kitchen, night. A spacious modern kitchen with a central island. Adjacent is a breakfast bar with a few bar stools and a small table and chairs. A sliding glass door to the patio. Dave is preparing to barbecue 2 steak dinners. Emily bursts back in with a wide grin on her face, holding a bottle of champagne. Dave looks at her.
Did they accept your offer?
What gave it away?
You don't normally barge in here with a bottle of champagne.
A worried look crosses Dave's face.
Now, tell me how much work really needs to be done to sell it.
Emily pops open the champagne.
Not that much.
Emily retrieves 2 champagne glasses from the cabinet, pours 2 glasses of bubbly. Dave nods.
Where have I heard that before?
Emily hands 1 glass to Dave.
Not for me.
Bullshit.
Emily takes the other glass and sits down at the kitchen table.
Okay, maybe, but this time I mean it.
She takes a sip, turns to Dave.
You should have gone with me if you were so worried about fixing it up.
Why? I knew we couldn't afford it. Besides, I had to give a customer a bid on some cabinets.
Dave holds up the bid for her to see. Emily's smile turns sarcastic.
That'll make us rich.
And how many houses did you sell last month or the month before?
Emily frowns.
You know the market isn't good right now.
Yeah, another reason we shouldn't buy that house.
Emily's smile returns.
Everyone says the market is getting better.
That's what realtors always say when the market is bad.
And when it's good, you always say it's about to crash.
Emily takes another sip, turning to Dave with a confident smile.
Everything will be fine. Trust me.
That's what they told the passengers boarding the Titanic.
But it made a great movie.
Let's hope this has a better ending.
Emily raises her glass.
Cheers.
Dave smiles.
Now that was a good TV series with a happy ending. Hey, at least his movie and TV credits are all classics, and he doesn't have to worry about dating himself. I'll give him that much.
I didn't hear any of that, but I hope it was funny. John was reacting like it was funny.
The Cheers series reference.
Well, he Godfather,
Yeah.
Titanic,
It is pretty
Cheers.
dated.
Also, Godfather, Titanic. Yeah,
They're all classics. So
they are.
That's why I say
Well,
it's better than it's better than referencing modern crap that nobody's going to remember in 10 years. If you're going to make references to TV shows.
Also, if this is about a San Francisco housing market that isn't doing well, it's probably pre-1990s. Or I guess 2009.
I feel like lately, with interest rates having gone up so much, causing mortgage rates to go up, like housing is under stress. I don't know that housing prices have fallen, but they are showing a bit of weakness. Not that this script should be in any way tied to the current state of the housing market.
No.
Yeah.
Emily takes another sip, a satisfied smile on her face. Interior Thompson House office day. Emily rearranges papers on her desk. Sam, 40s, well dressed with rimmed glasses and carrying a briefcase, steps through the door. He looks like he just walked off the set of, quote, Wall Street, end quote, which is not the name of a thing that I'm familiar with.
Well, I mean, what would you title the movie with Charlie Sheen and his father?
Martin Sheen.
Yeah, Martin Sheen and Michael Douglas from the 80s, directed by
Glengarry Gunn. Was that Glengarry Gunn Ross?
No, that was Wall Street.
Oh,
the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, another classic.
That's a weird.
This guy really loves his old movies.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, he walked off the set of Suits.
Okay.
Bam. Done.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but Wall Street's more whatever.
Well, Wall Street is specifically late 80s, though. Like, if you're calling for Wall Street, you're calling for what was high fashion, the power suit of the late 80s. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. So that would be a little dated of a suit reference.
So actually just say what it is then, or just say walked off the set of Dallas.
Yeah.
Make it obvious.
Or he's wearing a nice, what are they? Not manicured. What's the term for a suit that's
tailored?
Yes, thank you. Nice tailored suit. That's all we need.
Yeah.
That is if you want to go current, unless you mean.
I mean, like you could even like reference like the big high fashion, like Hugo Boss, for instance. You know, whatever was big in and they're still selling a fair number of suits, so you can just reference them in that way, and then it's timeless. Well, unless they go out of business, but you know.
Well, I just mean unless you're going specifically for a look.
Yeah.
Well, because again, we don't know is he wearing an 80s suit. Or is he just wearing a nice tailored suit? Because if he's just wearing a nice tailored suit, then just say that.
Yes.
Because otherwise, like you said, if you're saying it's like this particular thing, now we're wondering why is he dressed like an 80s, Wall Street tycoon.
We're wondering why he's dressed like Gordon Gekko. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, where were we? Here's Sam. I guess I'll be Sam since.
You'll be Sam.
All right. What's the biggest emergency, Emily? Did they quit showing cat shows on TV?
Thanks for coming, Sam. And for the record, I'm a dog person.
Sam sits across from Emily. He appears agitated, tapping his fingers on the briefcase.
What do you want this time?
We need to borrow some money.
Then go to a bank.
Dave and I wouldn't qualify for a jumbo loan.
Emily shuffles through some papers and finds the one she is looking for, hands it to Sam. He glances at it.
What is this?
It's an offer to buy a house.
I can see that. I meant, is this some kind of joke?
It's my offer they can't refuse, you bastards. Anyway.
Emily shakes her head.
No, it's not a joke.
Sam looks Emily in the eye.
You guys can't afford this.
Apparently it was an offer they couldn't afford to make. But all right.
Her mouth is writing checks. Her bank account can't.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Emily's a pistol. I don't know. Boy, being married to that would be rough. All right. It's not like we're planning on living in it. We're just going to fix it and up and flip it.
In this market, you'd have to be crazy.
Now you sound like my husband. Oh, shit. She just won the argument right there.
Your husband should have married me instead of you.
Yeah.
Then you should listen to him. As your accountant and your husband's best friend, I advise you not to buy this house.
Sam throws the document on the table.
They already accepted our offer.
Then get out of it before it's too late.
Emily shakes her head.
Oh my
This
God,
is
another movie
my
reference.
driving Miss Daisy.
No, it's you're driving you into bankruptcy, and I'm not ready for matching orange jumpsuits. Who wears orange jumpsuits in bankruptcy?
I guess she's doing like fraud. I guess he's saying like you've strayed into the area of fraud. I guess that's it.
But
He's saying
that's
she has
not
criminal
bankruptcy.
liability. That's what he's saying right here is you have criminal liability for proceeding forward in this deal. That's
Why
what
didn't you just say that?
well, he did.
I guess. Emily
Yeah, but
throws
that's
up
not
her
driving into
hand.
Is bankruptcy criminal liability? I
No,
guess if you
bankruptcy is not criminal. Like he's saying she's committing criminal fraud.
He's implying that she's committing criminal fraud.
Right. Yeah, he's implying she's committing.
well, I mean,
criminal
if you intentionally take a loan that you can't repay back and thus file for bankruptcy, isn't that fraud?
I mean, it depends on what the district attorney could convince a jury, but you know.
Okay.
And that loan ends up with your other creditors in the bankruptcy anyways.
Right. I've never heard of a DA bringing a criminal charge for I mean, look, in the roaring 90s going up to 2000s, you had a lot of very dubious like mortgage loans and stuff. Particularly going into like the 2007, 2008 crisis. There's a lot of dubious mortgage applications. I didn't hear of many criminal charges being brought. I think there were like a couple, but they were like the heads of big firms.
Right. Not the person actually taking out the loan.
Yeah.
But
Not like
basically,
Emily. Yeah.
This line makes no sense. It's bankruptcy would not lead to orange jumpsuits. That's my whole point. That line makes no sense.
I think I agree with you on that one.
If you want to imply fraud, then that line needs to be changed or cut the orange jumpsuit line.
Yeah.
Emily throws up her hands.
Are you going to help us or not?
Sam pauses to think.
When you went through your divorce and your ex-husband tossed you out onto your ass, or your ex, tossed you out onto your ass, did Dave and I say no?
I know. I stayed here for the better part of a year.
More like 2, but who's counting?
Apparently you are, bitch.
Boy, Emily is such a... Oh, boy.
Well, now we know who the villain of this story is.
Yeah.
Sam picks up the document and flips through the pages, turns to Emily.
You know the bank will want to see 3 years of tax returns, right?
Emily nods.
I know. The house doesn't sell and they have to foreclose. They'll do an audit and we could all end up in jail. Why, though? Why? And I don't look good.
Look, if you work in real estate, all right, technically, if you forge documents, then you submit to a bank in anticipation of getting a bank loan, you're committing like fraud and you could be criminally prosecuted. I just don't hear many such cases being brought. But technically, yes.
But is she asking him to forge documents? Because I didn't see that, unless that's supposed to be in some subtext here.
No, John, you're only saying you didn't see that because it never happened.
Yeah, it hasn't happened. Right.
Right. It did not happen in this story. So I'm.
Yeah.
Emily,
but like if you somehow
like
make up a home that doesn't exist and you're submitting like paperwork on it in order, you could be charged criminally for that.
Emily shakes her head.
This is a slam dunk, Sam. Boy, this girl. Anyway, nobody is going to jail. You are such a worrywart.
Sam nods with a slight smile, looking at the agreement.
So?
Sam nods.
Just make sure you sell the damn thing before I get arrested.
Sam holds up the agreement.
Is this my copy?
Emily nods. Sam places the agreement into his briefcase and snaps it shut.
Give me a few days to make it look like... Okay, there we go. Give me a few days to make it look like you two can afford to buy that damn house.
Emily appears agitated.
It's not a damn house. It's a dream.
Sam rises to his feet.
Yeah, you say that now. Just make sure you sell it.
Sam strolls towards the door.
And next time, have a pot of coffee made. I work better with coffee.
Sam exits.
I swear that guy would lose sleep if he thought there was a pea under his mattress.
Emily rearranges papers on her desk, glancing at her watch.
I'm going to be late.
She grabs her laptop and hurries out the door. Interior, Thompson House, kitchen. She hurries out the door into the same location? What?
I don't know.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Interior, Thompson House, kitchen, night. Dave's at the kitchen table, engrossed in playing SimCity on his laptop.
I hope you got the
Emily
rights
enters
to
with her
SimCity.
laptop. This is a very specific time period where, like, there's a shitty housing market and people have laptops and printers at home.
And SimCity.
But people are also still playing SimCity, which is like way late 90s and not mid 2000s. What is happening?
Yeah.
Emily enters with her laptop, notices Dave's distraction.
Well, how'd it go?
Emily grins.
Sam did a great job adjusting the numbers.
Dave finally shifts his attention toward Emily with a mischievous smile.
I was talking about your listing appointment.
Emily chuckles, sets her laptop on the table.
I thought you were talking about my meeting with Sam. All right, well.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Yeah, I'm about to. It seems like I'm ending at the good part. Like page 11, I feel like where the story's gonna go in a more pressing direction. But anyway, hey, it's going very well. I look forward to submitting more scripts that we can review. Anyway, all right. Well, we've certainly spent some time with Sam and Emily. Emily is very ambitious. She has a way of making people consent and go along with her plans, despite them clearly being a bit malformed. And she's definitely the one in charge between Emily and the husband.
Everybody else?
Everyone else, yes. Emily's the boss of the world would be how I would title this script so far. All right, go ahead, John.
Yeah, she's definitely a very strong, forceful personality. I think there's some really interesting stuff going on. Some of the subtext was lost on me, but that's just me, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it had some interesting plot balls in the air, and makes me curious where it's going to go.
The woman is clearly a character who wants something, so that's good. And there is a plot underway to get to what she wants, which sounds like the beginning of the story.
Yes. All right, constructives. Keep coming back to why is Emily, like, to me, Emily seems out of touch. And I'm not sure if you're trying to portray that purposely or not. But if she thinks it's an offer they can't refuse, but everyone else is saying this is a ludicrous deal, then somebody's wrong there, right? Like, and just based on the number of voices, 2-1, I'm going to say that Emily's kind of out over her skis, and she's suggesting on offer that they should refuse. Not that they can't. So I think Emily seems like, I really feel like Emily is kind of the villain so far of these pages, because she's setting about other people onto her plan, which is very law ignoring,
legally dubious.
Yeah, legally dubious. A legally dubious plan that people, if in their right mind, should not engage in. And if Emily goes on to be like our heroine, and oh my God, Emily's got to save the day because bad people are doing bad things. In the back of my mind, I'm going to be thinking, well, yeah, but I mean, she's not a good person, really. I don't know. John.
Well, that could work if she has a come to Jesus moment.
Sure. Yeah.
Like if the story that unfolds is basically she fucks up and a bunch of shit happens and she kind of has to deal with all of that, that could be an interesting storyline. Um, but anyway, so I would say to Danny's point, which people probably bring up, is the timeline was the period is very confusing. So the first thing I would do is either, even if you don't want to put it in the script, because I know like it would be really super easy. Like, okay, so let's say this story takes place in 2006. Okay, so how do you do 2006? Well, as long as the cars and the cell phones are proper to the period, you don't really have to. You don't. There's nothing else you need to do. Um, Mostly clothing, hairstyles haven't changed all that dramatic. Um, there's no major architectural changes in the last 15 years. So, as long as nobody has an iPhone and nobody is, I forget what year you said the car was when she pulled up in the BMW. But anyway, so I would say it would be beneficial to you, at least for us as the readers, to tell us what year this is supposed to take place. It'll help us visually as we're reading it set the world, even if in the actual film, assuming that you're producing it yourself, you decide not to actually show what year it is.
And if you're going to say based on actual events, well, then you should tie us to a specific time and a specific place, right? It shouldn't be just like Metropolis. This should be Seattle. I should know.
Well, he did say it was in Los Calmos, California, or
Okay,
something
fair
like
enough.
that.
Yeah.
So there should be like a super heading or something that says Los Calmos, California, 2006.
Yes, exactly. Something like that. Yeah.
Because that'll tell us exactly where and when we are.
And that adds a lot of context. Like if you start off with a slug line that says 2006 and the audience sees that, then when Emily's saying, no, things are going to get great, we in the audience go, no,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it's
this
not.
is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would actually, yes, because that'll also tie things. Yeah, it'll make things a lot more
Yeah.
interesting to us. Um, to be like, yeah, no. Or if you want to make it in 2008, then you make it in like March
Right.
2008. Like especially if this is going to be specifically related to that crash, then
Mm.
I think which happened what in June or July. It was like in the summer, I think. I
Yeah.
don't really remember. So like if you were gonna like place this like 2-3 months before, tell us, oh yeah, this is March 2008. Most
Right.
people will be like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember what's going on. And then we were talking about housing crisis, and then everybody will be like, oh shit's gonna go down in like 2 months, like you
Yeah.
know.
Because,
So
like, I mean, the thing is, Emily's plan is not horrible most of the time. Most of the time, if you just buy a house on credit you can't even afford and plan to fix the house up and flip it, that'll often work. There are a few times where it won't. And that's where you can go, oh, look at that. She was unlucky. She picked a bad time. Like, if she's doing this, yeah, in March of 2008, that was a bad time to do that.
well, there was a company in one of the HOAs that I manage. They
Yeah,
bought a house on foreclosure for 160 grand, and they're now selling it for 260 grand a week
right.
later.
Yeah. Well, sure.
So I mean, that's kind of what they're doing. They're just flipping houses. Like you can, that's another way to go about doing it. But and if you don't have that 160 grand, but you're expecting to flip it for 250, and then the market collapses, and now all of a
Yeah.
sudden that house is only worth 50. You know, that's a little bit of a different. I mean that references an actual financial idea. That's something you could add to the dialogue, depending on what you want to do with it. Um, so, you know, you can look into that if you don't know how that process works. Is basically what I meant to go with that. Danny, any comments?
Well, I agree with you about the time and space stuff, but that wasn't my main concern, actually. Regarding it, one good way to do that is to like name the price of the house. Like, if any property where I live were available for about $100,000, it would be a pre-construction condo 9 years ago, right? In John's location, I guess it's like, right now on foreclosure, 250 seems much more reasonable, I guess. But that's, what was that in 2008? Probably under 100 without the foreclosure.
Yeah, it was probably 50 to 60 grand.
Right? Which, as far as I'm concerned, is pocket change, but I live in downtown Toronto. Now, you're dealing with...
like a week or two ago about like condos in Toronto are like that market is pretty frozen.
Well, I mean, the shoe boxes that are only good to Airbnb out market is frozen. Actual places that are livable are probably fine. But no one actually wants to move a family into a 300 square foot box that people only bought because they were pre-construction investors and they were never good apartments to begin with. Like, a lot of supply got built that was stupid because it's cheap and you can flip it quick. And as it turns out, no one wants to live there because all that supply is stupid and it's unlivable. In use that will shock fucking nobody. Because the people who want to buy houses are, of course, people who want to live in them. At any rate, so yeah, there's numerous things you can do to establish the time and the era, but also these people are broke. What does good money look like to them is actually a real question, right? Are they fighting over a $50 house flip, or like $500, or like $5,000, $500,000?
I mean, she's driving a BMW, so I mean, even 15 years ago, a BMW would still run you 30 to 50.
A BMW, like,
well, Emily's attitude tells us she's making a major play. That other
yeah, except for here's the thing: we're not seeing a number. It's like, where's the rational person being like, why are you offering $250,000 for that house? It's only worth $100,000. No, listen, we can flip it so good. The market's going up. Trust me, bro. That's like, okay, it's an ego story. Let's go. Right? If you don't tell us the numbers, it just sounds vague and weird. Speaking of which,
I mean, yeah,
you've given us 3 characters, and 2 of them are vague and weird.
And it's based on actual events, so yeah, I'd say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, give us the numbers, Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, you have 3 characters, and 2 of them are vague and weird.
Maybe it's an autobiography, and he was Dave is the guy that actually wrote the script.
Who the hell cares? Dave's a non-character. We don't know what he cares about, what he does, and we know he gets suckered into deciding shit. What the hell? That's all deeply vexing.
I feel like I know the writer a bit. I feel like I know that the writer knows.
Yeah, but the audience isn't reading the
get
script.
Their opinion expressed and win arguments.
That's the true story that it's actually based on.
Yeah, that's the true story right there.
It's based on his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Who he got a divorce because she wanted to spend
name?
all his money.
Yeah. Sorry, were you guys saying something?
Just
no, we were.
The dialogue between the husband and wife feels real, like
aside from the part where it's on the nose, as your husband and also as your whatever the hell. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
And the same thing with Sam, like just not saying what the fucking problem, or whatever the hell his name is, the accountant, not saying what he shows up, he gives a bunch of weird references that don't give him any character. It's not like, he's the guy dropping Lord of the Ring references where everyone else is dropping Orange is the New Black. No, he just keeps hinting that this is illegal without telling us what's going on. If he has a serious principled complaint and he's a CPA, it's his job to say, this is probably fraud. You don't have this kind of income, blah, 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 blah. Also, why the hell are these people applying for a mortgage with a bank when they're real estate brokers? They should know a private mortgage broker. What are these idiots doing?
Private mortgage broker, I think.
Then why they fill out fake forms? Just like, here's my actual, get me a mortgage for this. He's the private mortgage broker. it's not a bank. You're not applying like I'm buying my first house for a mortgage. You're in the business. People are going to give you deals for a flip. That's how that shit works.
Yeah, it's called a business plan.
Well, and also, like, that's why private mortgage brokers exist. You don't have to just go to your bank. Anyways, you have 3 characters. 2 of them are nothing. We never see any conversation with the people who somehow get convinced to sell their house. That would be interesting, because I bet what's her name can't bully them into that, unless the bully offer is like what? Multiple millions over asking.
Right.
And then why does she want the house that badly? Is there an Indian graveyard underneath it?
Yeah, that's the one thing we never see. Like, why is Emily so convinced? We just see the story opens with Emily convinced that this deal is amazing, but we never really find out why.
Yeah, and like real estate is like, even a neutral market, it's not a terribly difficult business to make money in, unless you're a complete idiot or you don't do any work.
Right.
Right? Because no one builds enough houses, and like the people who can afford houses, as it turns out, already have a ton of money and will just pay ridiculous commissions. It's not like you got to get the business. Like if she convinces these people to sell their house with her, like that's work. But we never see her doing any work. We see her like typing a ridiculous number on a piece of paper and sending it by courier on a bicycle across like somewhere in America or whatever. Because
no, I think she
we don't know what
delivered it to
year
them
this is
she
set
left.
in. Right? Anyways, so yeah, you have this conflict built entirely by one character, and everyone else just kind of exists in their orbit as a non-entity. And in 10 pages, that's actually not great. No one's interested in anything interesting aside from guy playing SimCity. So okay, whatever. Everyone looks rich. Them talking about being with the BMW and shit and having cabinets kicking around. So them talking about being poor doesn't make any damn sense. Like if she drives a nice BMW to a shack because they can't afford anything better because they're just starting up, that makes sense. So you're not showing us that they're going to be massively over leveraged. Well, yeah, like there's not enough detail to make any of this stuff pop.
I do know
So I think those are like my main problems with the narrative. And then in terms of cinematography, you cut to the same location at a different time multiple times. Don't do that.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what, John? I actually thought of one person who was criminally charged for bank loan documents.
Who?
Donald Trump. That was a New York case. It was all about real estate evaluations. It was all about you said
but it wasn't a 2008 case.
Yeah, it was like really old. So like that's like it's not brought often, but apparently if you're running for president, they'll bring it. But for the most part, most people can get away with like, saying they have more in assets in order to secure a deal. But Danny does bring up a good point. If they're in the business, why are they even going that route? I don't know.
Like if they're just two people being like, oh, everyone else is doing it, let's go make some money.
Right.
That's a good reason to go that route. No wonder they'll be over leveraged. They're not experienced.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Who are these people? Like, why are they over leveraging? You're not showing us any of that. You're just telling you have people talking about signing papers without telling us what the papers are. And then it's like, oh, this is really bad. Well, okay. But why don't they actually have an argument before they sign the papers? Because I wouldn't sign that shit if I was responsible for like a multi-million-dollar loan for a house I couldn't flip. That would be idiotic. I'd be underwater from the moment if I'm in the business, I should know that.
So you actually gave me an idea. So here's an idea for you to consider. And this is based on Danny's thought about making them unexperienced. What if she just got her real estate license? And what if her husband is working as a general contractor, which I think was implied that he was going to be doing the repairs? And what if like they're like sitting on the couch watching TV and they see some ad for some house on TV, and she comes up with this brainstorm like, oh, it would really, get us out of this shitty shack that we're living in is I just got my real estate license. What if we buy a house and you fix it up and we sell it? And then again, if they're just starting out, they have no business experience, they have no credit, they have no history. And then they can go and get their shady finance deal from, you know, somebody. And then that puts them in a situation where, like you said, they don't know what the F they're doing and they can make mistakes. That also, depending on you as a writer, how familiar you are with real estate and house flipping. If you don't know something, you can actually fudge it because your characters won't know things. So, like, that's one thing is like if your characters are supposed to be a subject matter experts on something that you are not a subject matter expert on, that makes your subject matter expert characters the dumbest in that subject matter of all. So that's so again, if you're not familiar with that, I think making them amateurs is also a good avenue to investigate.
Seem like amateurs to me, but I would like that
No,
to
they
be
didn't. They didn't. I think that Danny's suggestion was to make them amateurs, and I am
okay.
adding to that by saying, one, that would explain why they're making stupid mistakes, and it
Right.
helps the writer cover for the fact that if he is not a subject matter expert in what the characters are supposed to be experts in, then it also covers for the writer.
Okay. Yeah. It's
You
not
know,
a bad
like
idea.
if you're writing a story about Albert Einstein, but you don't know shit about physics, then you're going to make a story about the dumbest Albert Einstein ever.
Very
So,
true. Which is why
so
they
that's
say write what you know. Hopefully, this
right.
guy knows real estate.
So
I mean,
that would
look,
be
there's no way around writing this script if you don't know real estate, right? If you're not a real estate investor and you're writing about, Pacific Heights, I think like you got to be somewhat knowledgeable.
yeah.
All right, we have some harpies.
Yes. So this was the final rewrite, the second half
Okay.
of the final rewrite of issue 1, because it's going to go into production in like a week or two.
You're damn right it is.
Even though I got my Angel of Darkness money and there's none of it left over, but that's okay.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about all that. All right, we got.
It was supposed to pay for Harpies 1, but sadly, it underperformed.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Palace 4 did okay, and people seem to like it, so I'm glad.
Good.
I have good feelings about Palace.
Good.
The only constructive comment I got was I wish I could get a nude version of your main cover, and I'm like, man, you can already kind of see anyway. But
all right, Preston, do you want to narrate for
of
Danny?
course, page 12, panel 1, exterior skies over London. The Lysander ascends as the Spitfire submarines attempt to engage the airship, looking for a weakness, but its magnetic repulsion shields hold firm.
Commander, we're breaking position and increasing altitude to 6,500 feet. Longfu, put on your mask.
How can I help?
Think of a way to take down that airship.
Panel 2, interior Westland Lysander Mark II day. Longfu looks out the side window as Aaron flies the jet.
If you got over the ship, I could jump down.
Are you insane? Wait, don't answer that.
If I was down there, I can punch stuff, and you know I'm good at punching stuff.
Oh, God. Longfu.
Did you just make like 2 lines of dialogue? Like 3.5? Panel 3. No, hold on. I'm not reading that. But Preston's reading that.
Oh, you're right. Erin pulls the grease pencil from her bracer. Panel 4, Aaron squints with one eye while holding up the grease pencil to judge their distances to the target. Panel 5, Aaron draws a geometry calculation on the side window with her grease pencil.
This just might work. Get ready to jump. You're going to catch the wind and ride at 15 degrees to...
You do the math. Just tell me when.
Page 13, we got 4 panels. Number 1, exterior of the SMS Earthsvan Hoppener gunner's platform day. A spotter holding binoculars shouts, pointing in the air as the gunner turns the crank, raising the guns.
Schau mal dort. Schnell.
Sure, that.
Whatever.
Panel 2, well, it's not like complete nonsense. It's German. Westland Lysander Mark II. Longfu stands up in the back of the jet with the canopy open as the 20mm rounds explode, sending shrapnel piercing the jet, sending the hot grease into the cockpit. Alarms sound.
Longfu, go now.
But
I'll be fine. Windows closing.
Panel 3. Skies over London day. Longfu swan dives over the side of the Lysander just as it explodes. Kaboom. Panel 4. Longfu rides the wind ascending fast towards the deck of the SMS Erzvan Hopner as 20mm shells explode all around her. Page 14, panel 1, interior Erzvan Hoppener bridge. Longfu slams into the plate glass of the bridge, flattening against it. We have a swap.
Permission to come aboard, Captain.
Jeez. Panel 2, SMS Ernst von Hoppener gunner's turn. Day Longfu falls on the gunner's turn, crushing the gunner into the 20mm. What does that mean? Crushing the gunner into the 20mm. You mean
how much does she weigh?
She just fell like 150, 200 feet.
Sure. So a whole lot of force got put into both people there. I don't understand what it means to be crushing the gunner into the 20mm. You mean into the because like all right, 20mm cannon, right? We got the barrels over there, and he's in the back end, so she's knocking him into, I guess, like the butt of the gun or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like the ground. The ground would be a lot easier to draw.
Yeah, and knocking the spotter over the side.
At least I landed on something soft.
Panel 3, Longfu kicks the door open, finding herself in a room full of German soldiers moving crates of shells for the 20mm turrets.
Who's in the mood for an ass kicking?
I have a feeling she handily defeats all of these bad guys. Panel 4, cartoonish sound effects litter the side of the starship from the gun turrets down to the engine room. We have a pow, a splat, and a hi-ya. And then panel 15, Longfu kicks the door open, finding the engine room unmanned. An ominous green glow comes from the center of the room.
Deja vu.
Longfu bends over, reaching inside the engine core. The Hecate fusion core shines bright green as it sits hooked into a copper harness surrounded by turning gears.
Radioactive gemstones. Erin's going to love you. And it's not even her birthday.
Longfu's boots slip on an oil slick on the ground. Longfu falls headfirst into the engine core. The turning gears suck her head and torso between the gears. Oh shit, she dies. She dies. I didn't expect that. Her head gets crushed in the gears. Blood geyser erupts.
Oh shit.
I'd be laughing more if I pitched this scene. I already know what happens.
Oh, okay. The engine core grinds to a halt, grinding Longfu's legs into the air. Oh, she's quadriplegic. Help! Ah! SMR reserves spawn Hopner deck. A red light flashing on the panel's dash as the bridge tilts to the side.
Captain, we're losing power to the stabilizers.
With the deck tilted to the side, Mueller holds the phone. As he slides down the deck, the Hofstadter slips over the deck railing, falling over its side.
Ah!
Danny, why don't you do Mueller?
Capitan, what the devil is going on?
We're rerouting power. 1 second.
The deck now level. The phone lays on the ground off the hook. Forced perspective background. Miller heads to an elevator.
We're sending a team to engineering now.
Panel 4, interior SMS Ernst von Hoppner, engine room day. Miller enters the engine room, followed by 2 engineers, finding Longfu's legs sticking out of the engine core gears. She died. Dead. Holy shit. Wow. Good on you, John. I didn't expect that at all. Mueller remains pissed, but the engineers stand in shock, one making a sign of the cross.
My God.
We're damned Amerikaner. Why is he bitching about Americans? He's in London.
And she's Asian.
Also, how can he tell from her legs?
Yeah,
true.
I'm looking
That's
at
true.
her
Okay.
Asian legs. Well, these damn Americans.
That's true. It's not until she
Is
starts
she the
talking
only
that
one wearing tights? Is that why?
tights.
Yeah, because nylon was mostly used in parachutes, so it was really hard to get, and like women had to like make fake nylons, usually involving like beetroot lipstick. So it looked like it was actually a thing in World War II in London.
For that matter, like it was kind of sexy to draw a black line up the back of your legs.
Yeah, because it looks like nylons.
Because it looks like nylons. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was an actual thing. So if Longfu's got the actual nylons, clearly she has money. Maybe she's an American. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why is he bitching at Americans when he's in the skies over London?
You're right. It's an old line. I should have cut it. Okay.
Or just say Englisher. Jesus.
Miller grabs one of Longfu's legs by the back of her knee, causing her to giggle, sending the engineers reeling back, white as ghosts.
That tickles.
It's a ghost.
It's a ghost. Is she Superman? Is she invulnerable this whole time and I just never knew it?
You did know. You've been bitching about it the whole time.
Well, I thought that's because she was so fast.
You've been bitching about it for months,
Preston,
so like I suggested John lead into that.
Okay.
Yeah, so and we came up with this idea, and I'm like, this is freaking hilarious.
Okay, Mueller grabs both of Longfu's legs, pulling her free of the engine core, causing several of the gears to pop free. Stream jets come from various places inside the engine core. One of the engineers ducks as gears flies over his head, striking the other engineers behind him, punching a hole through his head, splatting bloody chunks across the engine room. That's pretty good, actually. I like that. Anyway. Panel 3, Longfu falls on her back, her clothes torn, skin and clothes stained with engine grease. She looks up at Miller, staring down at her.
1 star. I do not recommend. ... Strike that. I totally recommend that for Nazis.
Miller grabs Longfu by the harness, picking her up. Longfu wraps her legs around his neck, trying to choke him, and bangs her fists onto his head, which seemed to have no effect.
Why won't your head break?
I am Liebstandarte, appointed by mein Führer and God Almighty to enact his holy vengeance on sinners.
Well, I don't know a lot of German National Socialists who would necessarily say it, but all right, fair enough.
The Liebenstandarte word they weren't as active as I'm making them out here, but they were basically a bunch of Nazi fanatics who looked at Hitler as if he was like the second coming of Jesus Christ. Like they were mostly active before World War II started.
Right.
But yeah, they were basically a bunch of psychos. So I'm kind of basing it on that, and kind of, fictionalizing it a little bit. Sure.
Miller throws Longfu against 2 large gears on the side of the wall. The tear piercing Longfu's skin and clothes, pinning her to the wall.
Perhaps we got off on the wrong foot. I know some really good mindfulness techniques that we could practice.
Bueller punches Longfu in the face so hard in the face, so hard falls free of the gears.
There should be
who you are, but you are clearly no avatar. Only lies and heresies spill from your mouth. Why is Mueller talking about that?
Yeah, I don't know why Mueller's talking about Avatar.
Yeah, because no one's brought it up before. So, I mean...
Maybe he's a fan of the anime?
No,
because that would be anachronistic.
Yeah, that would be dumb. Yeah. Panel 3.
Nah, I gotta work on that. Okay.
Miller kicks Long Fu while she's down, sending her slamming into a release hatch.
I tire of you, Americana.
Long Fu leans against the release hatch, panting as Miller stands large over her, raising his foot to stomp her out.
Get off my ship.
I mean, look, you've already shown she's invulnerable. We know how this is going to has to resolve, right? Long Fu and the release panel fall from the ship. Mueller's boot print clearly indented on Long Fu's chest. He stands in the doorway, watching as they fall. The light panel to the Lysander's captain seat having landed in the rubble, the parachute fallen haphazardly sprawled over the seat and half-destroyed building. Aaron stands beside, watching as Long Fu crashes into a nearby bombed-out building, sending a blast wave of air rushing through her hair and skirt. We have a kaboom and a whoosh, and the Urs von Hopner Mueller stands by the smoking engine core, holding a phone to his ear.
Status report, Capitan.
I suggest we return to the base for repairs.
Yeah.
Page 20. Panel 1. Aaron finds Long Fu laying on her back, arms out to her side.
Are you hurt?
Just my ego.
Panel 2. Long Fu stands brushing the dirt off her tattered clothes. Panel 3. Aaron throws her arms around Long Fu, hugging her.
I'm relieved you're okay.
I'm happy
I don't think
you're
the
okay.
dialogue and the action match up there, John.
Yeah, like if she's invulnerable, like how often is like Lois Lane gonna be like, "Oh, Superman, I'm so glad you're okay." Like, aren't I always okay?
Yeah, I mean, I was floating with several different ideas, and one of them was how much does Aaron know about Long Fu's abilities prior to this scene?
Well, she just let Long Fu jump out of an airplane without a parachute.
Yeah.
And was totally
Okay.
nonplussed when she fell through a church 6,500 feet below there. So I'm going to guess she already knows what's going on, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, you dived out without a parachute. She did watch that, yeah. Panel 4. Aaron pokes at Long Fu's unblemished skin.
Not a mark on you. No wonder the soldiers call you God's avatar.
Told you, dragons.
Yeah, that all should have been established before this issue even started.
Yeah. 21. Panel 1. Aaron and Long Fu exit the building. Londoners emerge from the hiding as the SMS Urs von Hopner heads south out of the city. Panel 2. Army soldiers unload from several small boats at the docks, racing past Aaron and Long Fu to help those in the city. An army private approaches Long Fu and Aaron.
Lieutenant Rice, you received an urgent telegram from Colonel Smith. I'm to return you and the Avatar back to the Duke.
Panel 3. Aaron reads the telegram as Long Fu looks over her shoulder.
What's going on?
We're being dispatched to Egypt. Seems the Nazis have found another Hecate stone.
Oh no.
Dun, dun, dun.
Happy with that, Danny? I gave
Really,
you a
actually,
little...
very much, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That was Danny's contribution, his major contribution.
Okay.
That
I gave you the entire, like, half
and her
of the
falling
year's
into the
scene,
engine core.
and I told you how to reorganize the entire issue, and it looks like it landed.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, I like it.
Wow, that's high praise coming from Preston.
Yeah.
Remember half the shit you write. Take the win.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, look, it's presenting a story, and we have a conflict. We have Aaron and Long Fu versus the evil Germans. I'll have more to say when we get to constructives, but we have a conflict.
Of course you will.
We have a conflict. And you know, we have action about the conflict. We have some exposition in that action. We learn that Long Fu is invulnerable. And you know, depending on how you end up writing Aaron or whatever, people either do or do not know that. And you know,
yeah, I'm gonna have to look over that. I'm gonna have to go over that again.
That's what we got. All right, Danny.
Yeah, well, you don't drag out the middle with a scene about passing gas, so I'm really happy about that.
There you go.
And you actually introduce issue 2, which is pretty good. So like you have successfully integrated this part of the story into a series, which was the actual point of part of this rewrite.
Yes.
Was to make it actually like part of a series. There was lots of talk about structure and stuff. So yeah, you totally landed it there.
All right, constructed. I don't see why Long Fu is indestructible. And I got to say, like, Superman and Superman's powers kind of vary from situation to situation. But I think the writers of Superman discovered it would behoove them if their character were more invincible. So, they introduce things like kryptonite and weaknesses and so on, so that now, oh no, Superman is weak and vulnerable in these situations. And we worry about what happens to him because invulnerable protagonists are kind of dull. We already know how it's going to resolve. Well, the invulnerable person wins because they're invulnerable. It's like so. I don't know why we need Long Fu to be invulnerable. I think that's often been my point. Like, why is she so amazing? Like, she's anyway, like if looking at this, like I would have expected Jezidro and Aaron to kind of be taking center stage, and we have these Long Fu scenes where her power level seems way above anyone else. And I'm not sure what that really serves. At the end of issue 1, I'm pretty sure the Germans are the far weaker force, right? They got like flying Zeppelin gunships and bombs and stuff, but the good guys have Long Fu, as well as maybe Aaron, who's pretty cool. But anyway, I don't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll correct Preston somewhat, which is this is the end of issue 1.
Right.
This is a rewrite of the end of issue 1.
Yes.
So like we don't have Jezidro. Although you're not wrong about the Germans being obviously weaker. Having Long Fu destroy part of the airship being the reason why they retreat solves a bunch of that, or at least it's meant to.
Mm-hmm.
My note is that Aaron isn't cool enough. She's doing that instead of commanding people, and she should be the one with the plan, if anything. And just be like, Long Fu, jump off my airplane now. Just do it. You can kick her out. And a lot of the dialogue is like needs to be reworked. Obviously, like the villain doesn't eat the scenery enough. Like which is a huge problem. The gear scene like is a little bit weird, and it's not obvious that like by the time Long Fu is extracted, that like some of the gears are broken or whatever, and shit won't work. So like you could do more to be like, oh, Long Fu succeeded and now she's trapped, or like, oh no, we need to get her out of here. Maybe she's after the Hecate stone, or like you're not leaning into your mythology enough. There's not enough scenery chewing. The villain doesn't seem superior in any meaningful way.
So that's that.
So like you really got to like actually make that scene on the battleship work. But like, I think you got the pieces in the right place. And like both Preston and I were saying the same thing about Aaron's reaction at the very end too, which is
I know that was a little. I was going back and forth on different ideas, but I think
it's like figure out what Aaron's job is in the team is the solution to that.
Right. Yeah, I got that. And
also,
as I said,
as another good thing, good job having the army show up to save all the cats.
To save all the cats?
Save all the cats. Military shows up after the air raid's over to like go rescue people. That's a good thing.
That's been in every version.
Sure. Maybe our heroes should help with that as a way to end that scene. Oh, you've fallen from this thing now? Okay, can you get up and help us like rescue people now? Let's go.
I mean, I could have Longfu pick up a building. She is strong.
I don't understand why you kind of like stealth introduce Superman into your script. Like coming into this from Angel of Darkness, we have Jezidro and Aaron, and then you just kind of shoehorn in Superman. I don't get why. Or Supergirl.
I mean, John keeps telling us that
it's all in Spirit of the Dragon 5.
The one that's not done yet, she becomes
Okay.
Superman.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a character that dies and comes back from the dead. There's not very much you can do with this character after that.
There's
like, what, we're afraid that she's going to die again?
I mean, you're also convinced that all Jezidro's good for is summoning zombies, which is a fucking problem.
Right.
Well, I'm working on the rewrite for that. I think you guys might like where I'm going with that direction. That'll be next week. But yeah.
My suggestion, what if you just cut Longfu entirely and it was about Aaron, Jezidro, and
because Spirit of the Dragon is my Kickstarter that makes freaking money.
Oh, okay. But is Longfu in Spirit of the Dragon?
She's the main character.
Oh, I thought that was somebody else. Okay, fine. So
yes, John's also renamed all of his characters for no reason.
Okay, okay, got it.
Because he hates continuity and he doesn't like his fans.
Okay, I understand.
No, it's
I've been bitching about that for a while.
They've embraced their superhero personas, so they're going with their
whatever.
superhero names
First off, let me say, okay,
that is silly.
My mom, okay, had a market research business for like 20 years. And I worked in that business and I helped out with focus groups. And when I look at comics, I adopt kind of a focus group model. Let's put it up. Let's see what sells. And that should absolutely inform your decision making. And that's great. But it doesn't need to dictate your creative decisions. All right. If you're like, oh, wow, people buy Angel of Darkness more than they bought Spirit of the Dragon. Therefore, I must take a character like the main character and shoehorn her into the story just so I can get the sales. One, I think you've painted yourself into the corner of I have to continually copy my first success. I think there are other successes out there that you haven't discovered yet that you could discover. And
this is the evolution of the character. That was the whole point of the whole.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If I wasn't trying to make a story in the same continuity, I would have just been doing a whole new story.
Okay, so at the end of Spirit 5, she becomes Superman.
Yes.
Is there a supervillain that can thwart her?
It's supposed to be the German Mueller guy.
But we know she could just kick his ass.
She just got kicked off of an airship by him. So to Danny's point, I need to build up that scene more to make him more of a threat. Which,
I don't understand.
This version is 21 pages.
I get that he can kick her off, and I guess she can't fly. Fair enough. But it just seemed like he was inconveniencing her and escaping from the situation. Because having Superman standing on your airship is bad news. So, hooray, he got rid of the thing that was going to destroy his airship. But, I mean, she wasn't hurt. In fact, it wasn't possible for him to hurt her. And I think future situations will probably go to her just by default because he can't do anything to her outside of escape or, she can't fly. Okay, her one weakness, she can't fly. So if I push her out of my airship, she's going to fall to the ground. Hooray. I mean, right.
I do agree that segment is underdeveloped.
Okay. If you want him to threaten her, then I should end issue 1 going, damn, that German's pretty strong. I don't know if you guys are really up to this task because, whoa, did you see what he did?
I think that would be a great addition.
Yeah.
I've got the room for it. This is only 21 pages.
Okay. Why don't you show me that?
Not a whole bunch of, oh, hey, you're okay dialogue that could just fuck right off and be replaced with that.
Yeah. If you want to show me a powerful villain that I should really think twice about, then show that to me, but I haven't seen it.
Okay.
At least press remember what happened in this one.
Yeah.
No, seriously, that's a huge win.
Yeah. It's
Like
it's
all the
better
parts
than
of the
La
story
Vigilante. All
largely
right.
made sense together.
Yeah. I gotta say, if I'm looking at script names and I'm like La Vigilante, or like you're head and shoulders ahead of that script. But that just comes with experience. If he came and he wrote for 2 more years, his scripts would probably get better just having submitted as much as you do in writing. Your writing is getting better, and congratulations. But now we got to deal with stakes, which, knowing you for as long as I have, I want to say stakes has always been an issue in your stories. All of your stories have always felt low stakes. I've always felt like I know exactly what's going to happen in this scene. And like you don't see a problem to just posing a dramatic difference between your protagonist and your antagonist. And to me, that presents an issue of, well, what can the antagonist, based on this issue one you showed me, I don't know what Mueller can do. As I said, like, what can he do other than push her off of his flying ship and go, you can't fly? That's like all he's got, show me what he can do to her. You either need to reduce her power level or increase his.
I agree, but luckily this is only minor changes. So
Okay.
Fingers crossed that'll actually happen.
All right.
John, you're staring at the screen pensively.
No, I just didn't have anything to add.
Not fair.
All right, cool.
But yeah, no, Preston laughed. There
you go.
For the record, Preston laughed.
There
was a scene that did not happen as he expected.
Yeah.
Even though he wanted her brain splattered everywhere, and that's why
he did forget that she was invincible, but it was still funny.
Well, I didn't say I wanted it. I'm just like, that would have been the natural outcome of, like someone falls into this massive pair of steampunk gears that are running a colossal battleship. Well, that person got ground to paste. Oh, wait, it's Longfu. Never mind.
It wasn't unfunny, though. It was slightly unexpected.
Yeah.
I should kind of remember what happened.
There you go.
I still feel like, that's definitely a thing, because Preston doesn't remember anything. Especially like this story. I mean, even I have a hard time keeping various versions in my head.
I mean, this is the 23rd version. I had to go and look.
Yeah, and I've probably read all of them live on the stream.
We have, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that makes it hard for you guys sometimes too, because there's so many different versions that you've read. It's hard for you guys to keep track of which version is which.
Okay.
So.
Well, Spirit of the Dragon.
And of course,
5.
Spirit of the Dragon 5 was so long ago that you don't remember that she literally took a nuke to the face and was blown through a building in Spirit of the Dragon 5 and survived.
Now, so like the Luck Dragon gave her this special ability?
Yes.
Is that what happened? Okay.
Yes. She is possessed by the Luck Dragon.
Okay. All right.
And then she went and fights Temperance, and then Temperance's mech suit blows up and goes nuclear.
Okay.
And she's standing like 2 feet away from it when it happens.
Okay, but I mean, one, there are ways to resolve the end of issue 5 of Spirit of the Dragon. I don't know how far you are along in it, but there are ways
like 3-4 weeks from being done.
Luckily, it hasn't been lettered yet, so give me.
It hasn't been lettered yet. The colorist has about 3 to 4 more weeks to go.
There are ways to resolve that without saying she's Superman, right? Like, I don't understand. Like, can't you just have her not standing right next to the suit? First off, if it's a steampunk suit, I don't a nuclear explosion, but all right. Like, there are plot ways to get her out of a nuclear explosion vicinity without necessarily saying she can't die because she's crazy and vulnerable.
No, it's that I personally felt that since the story has her dying and coming back from the dead, that
she would just be like completely indestructible.
Well,
and also super strong for some reason.
Well, she gets possessed by the dragon when she.
The luck
I
dragon.
do remember the part where you indicate the super strength and Spirit of the Dragon issue 1.
Yeah.
Right. That's from the prelude.
Yeah, the good part.
Yeah. That Samir did for me. Turned
Yeah,
out really well.
really good.
Like before, I would almost say before Samir got good.
Oh, harsh.
No, I mean, like I saw the stuff that Larry was posting. Like he's gotten
Yeah.
really, really good. And I'm sorry, I wasn't a huge fan of what he did in well, so, but anyway, yeah, no, I was
I
very
look
happy
forward
with
to
the thing.
seeing any future versions of this.
I think issue 1 is done. I'm gonna make a few changes, and then
Okay.
unless Danny wants to look at them again, I don't think I'm gonna make you guys suffer
All
through
right.
any more of issue 1.
Well,
I feel like I don't need to as long as you fix the dialogue or pay me to fix it.
One or the other is gonna end up happening.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
I just want to say that at the end of, like, for instance, if we take a look at Star Wars, the first movie, before it became a franchise, and like the first part of that movie, the Empire looks pretty awesome, right? They got Star Destroyers, they got fighters, they got troops, and Darth Vader looks like a complete and total badass, right? What is like the rebellion got? Like these stupid droids and like this old man in a robe. Like, how the hell is that gonna fight that, right? That's what we're wondering. But here, like, I'm wondering, how are the bad guys gonna fight the good guys? The good guys are just like Superman and whatever, right? Like, so I don't know. I think you should lean into the save the cat approach of make the bad guy seem a bit menacing, particularly
Yeah,
at the start of the story.
I agree. I need to dial him up more.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Next week, no group next week, but we'll meet in 2 weeks, and I may even have pages. Who knows? We'll see.
Awesome.
All right. Well, take care, and thanks for coming.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.